Call the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. At this stage, as I understand, there's a slightly wider purview than we have in respect of other parts of the bill, and I do want to express why it is that Labor thinks that overall this bill ought to proceed and that therefore the commencement date is appropriate. And that is that, sad though it may be, I think, to quote Winston Peters, every Western democracy has its own security and intelligence service, and we might not like to think that there are elements in society that would do untoward things, but the reality is that virtually every country protects themselves against those possibilities, and they do so on occasions through an organisation like the Security and Intelligence Service, and that we try to strike the balance between giving those organisations the powers they need to do their work whilst protecting citizens from intrusion on their civil liberties. And on this occasion, or in this instance, in New Zealand, we do that through the oversight of the Prime Minister and the Commissioner of Warrants, who's by tradition a retired High Court judge, or in fact it might be by way of legislative mandate that there has to be a former High Court judge, and I see the Attorney nodding in respect of that, thinks it is. And that's how we achieve the appropriate balance between protection of our citizens from inappropriate intrusion or surveillance by the security apparatus, whilst having that facility there for the protection of our way of life, so that it is less likely to be disturbed by people who have different values and have a different ambition. And although those people are rare, we do have to accept that they exist in some parts of the world, and they could do damage to our way of life if they had their way. And so those are the two interests that we try and balance, and I think this bill achieves that.
Call Keith Locke.
Thank you, Mr Chairman.